Hi, welcome to Sugar Free. This is an all signs reading for week commencing Monday, the 23rd of October 2023. Moving towards the second eclipse of the month, which will be in Taurus, partial lunar eclipse, I understand. So there's a kind of it's that period between two. Basically we're in the middle of the portal, all right, the eclipse portal. So I'm going to have a general look at the energies here. I want to just draw your attention to this rather lovely object that I bought here. This is a little piece of quartz, and maybe I'll be able to use it to point at the cards. Very, very nice. Let's pop that over there. Okay, I've got here the major arcana of the ancient Italian tarot. And here I've got the minor arcana of the Rider-Waite split into its suits. And here I've got the major arcana of the Rider-Waite. Everything's really nicely shuffled. Been shuffling for ages. So what I'm going to do is pull 3 major arcana from the ancient Italian tarot, and then clarify with one from each of the suits of the minor arcana. And then I may or may not use this major arcana again to sort of tease out the major points of what's come up in the reading. So let's get on with it. Right. So 3 major arcana coming up here. Nice. Justice in the upright, High Priestess in the reverse, and the Devil in the reverse. Okay. Right, you might have heard me sort of sigh or take a bit of a breath there about the High Priestess in reverse. I mean, very, very often, this is my card of narcissism, High Priestess in the reverse. But let's see. This is the energy as we're coming in, this first one here, Justice in the upright. So there's a concern here with fairness, with balance. This is uppermost in our mind at the moment. Who's right, who's wrong, who deserves what should be meted out as punishment or reward to whoever. That's the energy we're coming in with. So real concerns, as I say, I'm really getting that strongly about right and wrong. And I mean, bottom line is we all have our own idea of right and wrong. Well, we say we have our own idea of right and wrong. We say it's all kind of personal and it's all like a bit relative and everything. But I think we also have a collective, very strong collective sense of what's right and what's wrong. And we kind of chip away at that when we're trying to defend our own actions. But, you know, I think this thing about sort of everyone having their own version of right and wrong is a way of basically splitting and dividing and shattering a collective energy. I'm getting that really strongly off this card today. It's a collective thing. It's not a personal thing. It's a collective thing. And I mean, justice is done and seen to be done. This is about how things look in terms of right and wrong in a very public arena. It's splattered all over the media, whatever this is. And it concerns everybody. And the lines are clear. Okay, they're clear. Right, let's see if I can start using this and pointing towards things. No. Maybe if it comes naturally, I'll use this little rather lovely piece of glass here. Very nice. Right, High Priestess in reverse. I'm just avoiding talking about this here. I mean, if it's not narcissism, and we'll see, I mean, that is my usual port of call, like I say with this card. But it might be something to do with the blockage of intuition, the blockage of instinct, something sort of in the gut, not bubbling up to the surface, if that doesn't sound too disgusting. Because I mean, the High Priestess, so early in the tarot cycle, this is just about knowing. This is just knowing. And the fact that, in a way, you know, our well, I don't know about in a way, but our destinies. And again, this is a sort of right, not a right and wrong equivalent, but there are two main ways to see destiny. Either, as it says in the Terminator films, no fate but what we make, or you could take Hamlet and quote him as saying there's a destiny that shapes our ends, rough hew them how we will. And, I mean, that's not rough hewed, but I mean, you know, however we try to sort of smooth things or like chip a bit off that and stick a bit on there and all of this, what's going to happen is going to happen. Que sera, sera. So there's something going on here about that division in approach when it comes to the matter of destiny. Okay. And the reason I'm talking about that, I don't usually talk about destiny with the High Priestess, but it's about that book. It's about what's written in that book. Like, how does that book get written? Does it get written by our own actions, or are our own actions kind of the unfolding word by word and page by page of what is already written? That's the question. It's in the reverse, so there might be some doubt or blockage on that. I mean, this second position is the veil, the obscuration. But with this being in the reverse already, I mean, maybe some fetters are coming off. Some blinkers, rather, coming off. And that's possibly more what could be happening here, because we move then here in this third position. Like things as they really are, the bigger picture, to the devil in the reverse, which is wonderful. The release from bondage. Okay, and that often comes through the wisdom that is accrued through suffering. If we know how to suffer, and I know that sounds really, really awful, but I mean, there is a lot of suffering in this card. There really is. There's a lot of stuff like hooked in, tied down, trapped, obsessed, going round and round and round, addicted. That's what we're dealing with here. And, you know, in saying that if we know how to suffer, I mean, speaking as a Buddhist, you know, one of the first noble truths, life is suffering. And that doesn't mean that there are no good bits in it. But what it means is there are certain sort of, or the way I see it, it means there are certain preconditions, certain fundamental kind of characteristics of certainly the human condition, and I would say all mammalian condition, is that there is this constant sense of dissatisfaction and the wish to move towards something better. And, you know, that in itself engenders suffering, because we're always wanting to move away from something that doesn't seem sufficient or pleasant enough. But then we move towards the next thing. And even if we get it, after a while, it fades. And we're looking out again for the next project, the next win, the next challenge. Progress, progress, progress. And I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it does create suffering. So, you know, if when you're suffering for some reason or another, due to some events or another, you know, one way to sort of suffer skillfully is to look at what it is that you feel you are lacking. And, you know, say if you've lost someone through death, say, then obviously you are lacking them. But look wider, look deeper. You know, what did that connection represent, or what does that connection represent? And for you, you know, what are the kind of emotional and psychological and spiritual, possibly, nuts and bolts of a connection that has ended for some reason or another? What part of you has also gone? That's one way to begin to sort of suffer skillfully, because then you can learn something about yourself. I mean, if it's gone, it's gone. But we can grow. That's what suffering skillfully is. It's about growing and aiming to accrue wisdom through our suffering. But here, I mean, it's in the reverse. So, you know, those hooks, those chains, those binds, like the hooks fall out, the chains just like drop off, the binds just kind of frizzle away and they're gone and you're free. But it might be a bit weird, if I can put it like that. Some sort of territory wherein, you know, it might take a while to realize exactly what's happened. There's a sort of reeling energy from this and disorientation. I'm getting disorientation here as well. But there is this, as I say, this justice done and seen to be done, like public performative concern with matters of right and wrong that we're coming in with. So let's start clarifying. Okay, 9 of Pentacles, Queen of Wands. Do you know what I'm getting straight off that today? The Queen of Wands is my way or the highway. That's what I'm getting off that. And that is like super narcissistic, isn't it? Let's keep going. Don't worry, I'll come back to the 9 of Pentacles. 6 of Swords. Well, that river is the state of quite a lot of highways certainly in the north of England today, and the east of Scotland. 6 of Cups in the reverse. Do you know what? I was thinking about the 6 of Cups earlier. It came up in a reading I was watching, and I thought how long it's been since we saw it on the table, and here it is in the reverse. Oh, man. There's a wish here in the 9 of Pentacles for things to be sorted so that we can be kind of at resplendent peace on our lands. All right, peace in our lands and peace in our time, where it's kind of done. All the dealing is done, all the backwards and forwards, all the work, all the power exchange, because that's what we see here in Pentacles, is exchange of power. You know, the labor and the time and the effort and the energy sold for denarii. And, you know, we've amassed enough here, certainly for our own needs. And there's peace in the land. And we own what we survey. And we have, even here with this little bird of prey here, the means to survey from an even higher viewpoint. It's lovely. It's very peaceful. But what comes after it ain't so great, or isn't so sort of stable by any means. And that's why I say this is a wish. And this echoes what I was saying here about this concern around right and wrong. And I mean, with this, I'm feeling to pick this up now, with this my way or the highway energy of the Queen of Wands. I mean, you know, peace that is bought at the price of subjugation is not peace. Healing that happens at the price of one particular individual or group being demonized is not healing. There's no freedom in this. And this really does look, this looks like here's the narcissism today in the Queen of Wands. The entitlement, the grandiosity. You know, they can, she's banging that stick, okay? She's whacking, she's going to whack that stick on the floor and all the petals are going to fall off that sunflower, and that cat is going to, like, she ain't going to see that cat again for a couple of days. You know what I mean? She will have her way. She will. And I mean, whether or not she actually will or not, but she certainly flipping well wants it. And she demands it. This is being demanding. And following on from that, we have a real kind of, this is discombobulated energy. It's like we're trying to get to something better here in the Six of Swords. We're trying to use that big stick that she's got to ferry the flipping refugees over the river to the other side. There's a longing for safety and sanctuary on the other side of that. And this like heartbreak, this ancient, I'm getting that line from, or a line from Romeo and Juliet, right at the beginning where the scene is being set, from ancient grudge, or something like that. That's what this is. And it's heartbreaking for everyone. You know, it could be so nice. It could be so nice if people were prepared to, you know, have a generous heart and to be able to see that the simple gift of, you know, compassion and succor, comfort here could, you know, look at the 5 cups here, you know, that were so, I mean, what do we have in 5 cups? We have that terrible heartbreak and disappointment of the 5 of Cups, and here they are all filled with flowers, and the 6th is being handed to the smaller one. You know, just for the sheer kind of rightness of that action. And that brings me straight back to the Justice card here, and it's in the reverse. So there's a lot of yeah, a lot of concern, and sitting in the middle of it all is this demanding energy. And I mean, you know, these two like gracious ladies here, I know which one's company I would rather be in, and it's her, because she's peaceful. This one, okay, you know, you might get to go to some great venues, you might like have some exciting times, you might, you know, some swanky outfits and like being driven around here, there and everywhere, but there's a non-negotiable element to this energy, to this today, and it's just making people want to run away, because the hearts are hurting. Hearts are hurting here. So that's what we're coming in with. It's pretty I mean, you know, with this energy here, and sadly this, the 6 of Cups in the reverse here with that Queen of Wands, especially with the Queen of Wands in this particular reading, the energy I'm getting off her here. Yeah, I'm really glad that Justice is in the upright, and I'm glad that there is this wish to get to the other shore. you know, where it will be better. Because there's a kind of tender wound, a tenderness to this, but not tenderness as in like, oh, that's nice. It's like tender as in ouch, right? There's an ouch here in the Six of Cups in the reverse. Right, let's pull on the High Priestess in the reverse. Okay. Two of Pentacles. Something about the two sides of a situation not being acknowledged here. 10 of Wands in the reverse. Well, let's see, because you know that I need to see what comes next, because I have two very different interpretations of the 10 of Wands. Okay, I think I know which one. Yeah, okay, yeah. 8 of Swords. Oh, man. And the Queen of Cups. Yeah, the 10 of Wands. Like sometimes I see this, that those wands are about to just fall. Only just being able to handle the number of plates that are being spun here. It's been spun. Yeah, spun. And this sort of unwieldy, everything's about to sort of just like fall on the ground with a great big kasplatter. Or sometimes I see it as someone who has become so sort of practiced at what they do and is so just determined that they can carry a whole 10 wands safely back to the barn. They know how to handle these things and they're on top of it. I suppose, I don't know, it doesn't really matter when it's followed by the 8 of Swords, does it? It doesn't really matter. Oh my God. I mean, I said about this sort of like blocked intuition here and sort of blocked gut or ignored gut. And here again it is. I mean, we're blindfold and we feel like there's no way forward, but it's just because we're not bloody seeing. We're not seeing it. You know, the way forward is so accessible. But the perception here is that there's no way forward, and it's intractable. And yet, Queen of Cups. Again, the heart is being kind of hidden here. The heart is being hidden, but it's there. It's like pumping away. And you know, the love is flowing, and that's why it hurts. And that's why we want things to be sorted out. But we feel trapped here. And okay, what I'm getting off the 10 of Wands now in the reverse here, we just want to put this all down. We've just had enough. We can't do this anymore. We can't do it anymore. And this kind of, I said here with the 2 of Pentacles in the reverse, it's like not seeing that there are two sides to something. There's issues here around comparative suffering, comparative power, comparative agency in the world. There's issues around that. And that comes back again to this Justice card, because, you know, those scales need to be balanced. You know, what's brought to that angel for adjudication is put on those scales. And, you know, if it doesn't balance out, somebody's going down. Somebody's going down. And I wonder with this, and for some reason, it's always that I want to pick this up for some reason, something to do with this entitlement and grandiosity here in the Queen of Wands is like a thumb on the scales, and it's keeping us trapped in a seemingly intractable situation. It's very uncomfortable. And I mean, this is the hidden energy, as I say. And I think the most hidden card here, well, the topping and the tailing of this column. I mean, when the High Priestess is in the reverse, what's in that book is hidden. It can't be read. You can't read it upside down. Okay. And here, this is hidden as well. But it's fueling everything. It's fueling this. So let's see. I mean, I wonder, I say about liberation and freedom here, but I sort of wonder whether this might be a bit of a kind of a spillage. Let's have a look. Like a bit, sort of like pools of stuff here, there, and everywhere. Yeah, look, what did I say? Spillage. I mean, this is the ultimate, certainly in minor arcana, of fucking holding back on the flow of energy. Like keeping everything like in-house, nothing flowing in, nothing flowing out. Well, definitely nothing flowing out. No investment. No kind of splurging. Okay, but here in the reverse, oof, maybe there's some sort of dam busting thing going on here. Maybe the levees can't contain the swell. Let's see. Okay, we got the 7 of Wands. Okay, do you know what I'm seeing here? I've never seen this before in the 7 of Wands. What I'm seeing is this rather strapping young dude here on the high ground. He's just overrun. All right, he's wasted his advantage of being on the high ground. He just gets overrun here in the reverse. 7 of Wands in the reverse. It's just, there's more of them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how sort of ferocious he looks and what show he puts on. If he doesn't take advantage of his position, there's more of them. They'll just come up and get him. It's something just kind of something just goes blah. Okay, so far in this column. It might not be a bad thing. I mean, this ain't very comfy, all of this. Oh, 7 of Swords. Wow. Okay, again, multiple possible interpretations. Let's complete that. And King of Cups in the reverse. Again, more stuff just spilling. But what? Like spilling out of emotions, basically. I mean, the King of Cups is emotional self-control, to put it as crudely as possible. Which is what you come here for, isn't it? My crudeness. But what's going on here with this 7 of Swords in the upright? How interesting that we've had a combination in all the other suits of upright and in reverse, but here it's the swords that are giving us the clearest message. I mean, sometimes the 7 of Swords is about keeping things to yourself. And that is sometimes useful, certainly on a temporary basis. But, if there's something that is important enough for you to think you should keep to yourself, then keeping it to yourself might have some unintended ramifications further down the road. Yeah, there's a vein of secrecy running through things here. I'm going to pull more, and I might even pull an oracle, because this sword story here is fascinating me. And with this vein of secrecy, I'm not saying lying, and I'm not saying stealing, but in a way, like secrets are a kind of theft. They're when we keep a secret, and like I say, sometimes it can seem like for a very, very good reason, but when we keep a secret, we rob other people, we rob others of the possibility of seeing things as they really are. And that's what this column is called traditionally, things as they really are. And I mean, that vein of secrecy, like connected to this Queen of Wands here, this is the kind of, it's unhealthy, something sort of smeggy here. And I mean, it's interesting that I mean, maybe it's secrecy that's coming out. I don't know, because we have all this kind of unattaching, things that were attached, things that were connected, and not necessarily in a good way. There's a kind of unraveling of something here. And maybe straight up, this will get kind of taken out with it. This secrecy here. Secrets and lies. Very interesting. If you're interested, I'm interested in this kind of stuff. Have a look at a thing called the semiotic square, because it's about seeming and being and secrets and lies. And that is the kind of nature, maybe, of the Seven of Swords. But, you know, even though I say, you know, secrets, lies, stealing, all of it, you know, it's all either bad or potentially bad. And I really don't think secrets are healthily kept. Secrets are kept in order to keep things the way they appear to be, okay? And the things as they appear. That's that first column. And people keep secrets in order to keep a status quo, so that things don't have to change. But, you know, there is actually quite a lot of stuff coming out here in this final column. What am I going to do? I'm going to pull. All right, I'm going to tail off. We've got top and tail. We've got a whole new deck of major arcana here. I'm going to top and tail these three columns here, with 3 from the major arcana of the Rider-Waite. And then I might pull an oracle card. We'll see. This is quite complex. It looks like it's going to be quite an interesting week, with major issues around what's right, what's wrong, who's entitled to what, who can keep going and who can't, who can get away and who can't, who sees a way forward and who doesn't, and underpinning it all, these very powerful emotional cards. Okay. Right, I'm just going to pull these from the top. Judgment, the World, and the Emperor. Whoa! Oh, my word. Now, I've shuffled these this way and that, so they will come out in the upright. Oof. Well, okay, if we're going to do this in like a timey sort of way, this is a weekly read. By the end of the week, someone has taken charge of this situation, or something has taken charge of this situation and imposed order and authority on this, because this is quite messy. and it's big. We've got the world here. This is this energy here of this problem around, in the Two of Pentacles in the reverse, this problem around, or this difficulty, this discomfort around power on two different fronts. There's a mismatch here of power, and certainly a mismatch of the perception of power, and it's getting to a point where it's just not tenable. 10 of Wands, not tenable. That means you can't hold on. It can't hold. It can't hold. And this is what I was saying here about it's overspilling the banks. It's bursting its banks. And I mean, this must happen. This Emperor energy must come in, you know, logically looking at this, it would be having to come in very, very quickly to kind of like impose some sort of control over this situation, because it's like, it just like all comes out here. And every aspect is affected by this. And I don't know why, but I'm coming back again. Oops. Oh, it looks all right, doesn't it? The light fell off. I'm coming back again to this this bird of prey here. There's something here about the view from like high up. Okay. The higher up you go, the more you can see. There's something, it's a kind of global energy, this middle one. It's affecting every aspect of things. And when something affects every aspect of things, change is inevitable. It's just inevitable. And the global nature of this, the universal nature of this, of the world card here, means that things cannot be the same. Again, things go, goodness me, we're in for a week. We really, really are. And this as well, I mean, Judgment, card 20, the world card 21. You know, these directly follow each other. Judgment here in this first column is about wanting to go back over this whole thing, whatever it is, and like dig through previous actions, previous consequences. You know, when the dead come back to life here, as they do in on the Day of Judgment, you know, you're digging stuff up basically and reassessing it, and kind of recounting and retelling the story of these people. But we're not doing this ourselves. It's just, this is sort of imposed divinely. This has to happen. This has to happen. Well, there's certainly a very strong wish for this to happen, and there's a real whiff of stuff being brought up from the past. And I mean, the past features heavily in the Six of Cups as well. And I wonder whether this journey in the Six of Swords here was a journey that was taken a long time ago. I don't know. Everyone clicks off. Tarot card reader who admits they don't know. But yeah, we're coming. There's by the end of the week, something is look at that. Something is where I've placed that. I'm not saying it's sorted, but there is either an event or a series of events, or a particular person that imposes their authority on this very, very swift moving and uncomfortable energy. And that's not always a good thing. When things like that happen quickly, I'm going to pull one from the Buddhist prayer deck. I haven't used that for a while. Hold on a sec. When there's a kind of chaotic and emotionally charged thing going on, and there's stuff like leaking out here and there, and secrets coming to light, and previously kind of functioning structures and systems stopping functioning, and oh dear, and someone comes along or something comes along and goes, right, that's enough of this. You're going to do this and you're going to do that. End of. That's not always a good thing. That brings me back here to the Queen of Wands, who will have it her way. Or what? Let's see what we get from the Buddhist prayer deck. Okay. I'll just open it. I'll open it here. Oh. As the bee collects nectar and departs without injuring the flower, so should a man behave in his village. Oh, and that was said by Dhammapada, 1st century BC. So there you go. 2,000 years old, that quotation. As the bee collects nectar and departs without injuring the flower. Okay, so what we're talking about here is getting your needs met. All right, because the bee collects nectar in order to get its needs met. It wants to eat it. Okay, but what it doesn't do is destroy the source of its own well-being. It doesn't just go in and take it. It does take, but it doesn't, as I say, it doesn't buck up it doesn't do a smash and grab on the source of whatever it is that it's taking, because that's what it wants. Because that's like a one-time only event. That's like, this reminds me of the story of the goose that laid the golden egg. And the silly man who owned the goose that laid the golden eggs. I remember being taught this at the age of like 4 at school, 4 or 5 years old. And he wanted all the gold. This goose laid a golden egg every day, but he wanted it all at once. So he killed the goose to cut it open to get all the eggs out. And of course, there was like nothing in there. I mean, you could see the punchline coming even at the age of 5. You know what I mean? So how does this relate? Yeah, listen, we're coming in with this concern around what's right and what's wrong, and we're going out with authority / authoritarianism. Be mindful this week to make sure that which sustains you can sustain itself as a result of its sustaining you. Right? Be mindful that you don't draw on the source to the point where the source dries up. And one could, if you like, drag it out. I'm thinking of a spring here, a particular spring in the woods in a particular place where I spent some very formative times in my childhood. And I'm thinking about what it would have been like, because this spring was like down in the middle of the woods in this sort of ravine, and it was the purest, most delicious. It was sweet, this water. It bubbled out of the rock, and we used to go down and collect our drinking water every day, like liters of it, and tramp up and down through the woods. And I'm thinking about what it would have been like if that spring had had like a sucky pump attached to it. How long would it have lasted? And just for the record, that spring has now dried up. I mean, this was back in the 70s. It was lovely. I can still taste it. But this is about balancing what we take for our own well-being, and how the source from which we take it is affected by our taking it. So I'm seeing this more as authoritarianism, I'm afraid. That's how, I don't know how else this unstable kind of bubbly, weird, spilly, stucky discomfort here can be solved or moved on to some new some new paradigm. But a new paradigm's clearly in the offing here, or at least the possibility for it. But yeah, I mean, who's strong enough to take all these disparate bits and pull it all together and assert their authority over it in a way that doesn't leave them in a position where that over which they have authority is just a dried up, blasted heathland where fuck all will grow and everybody's miserable. That's what's in the balance this week, like the scorched earth. So yeah, mindful this week of making sure that the source from which you feed or drink is able to replenish itself. Right, I'm going to leave that there. I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.